My name is Daniel Voth, and this is my case study for AEP 858, Data Analysis and Assessment. Section 1, the facts. Karen is an 11th grader. She earned A's and B's in 9th and 10th grades. She's a member of the National Honor Society. Her absences have increased this school year, and schoolwork has diminished in quality because of it. Married in August prior to the school year. No documentation of any conversations about this issue with the school counselors. Her notes stating parents had called the school to meet with teachers, but no evidence or documentation of meetings taking place. She missed many Mondays and Fridays throughout the first semester and missed a midterm exam before Christmas break. Tyrone, he missed 14 days first semester. He missed 5 days with family in Washington, D.C. Mom's note is in past tense and signifies approval to miss more than 3 personal days when was not asked for prior to the trip. Dad requested prior approval for another week of absences to travel to Canada. Dad's note indicates that all missed work will be made up. Homeroom teacher approved the absence. Christina, 9th grade student, absent for 4 days in a row in 3 different weeks during the first semester. Christina's minister requested approval for her absences to attend out-of-town church meetings. The minister's request lists no specific information, no locations, or no dates. These absences excused by homeroom teacher. Christina's algebra teacher requested a meeting with parents. There's no documentation indicating that meeting occurred. Carl is a 10th grade student, and he takes regular classes at Golden Oaks High School during the mornings. He's vocational ed classes at another campus during the afternoons. He's interested in construction trades and drafting. He misses school randomly, referred for truancy in November. His strong attendance is not supported by his parents, and his dad is more outspoken about the issue. Carl is allowed to stay home whenever he states he does not feel well. Dad believes attendance issues are none of the school's business. Dad did not finish high school and states Carl can come work with him instead of finishing school. And he's got a younger brother in middle school and a younger sister in elementary school. John is an 11th grader. He's a quarterback on the football team. He was injured during a preseason scrimmage or jamboree. He missed the first 2 games of the regular season due to the injury. The doctor cleared him to play as long as he continued with physical therapy. The PT was scheduled for Tuesdays and Thursdays from 12 to 2:30 in the afternoons. A note from the athletic director for John to be excused from afternoon classes on Fridays during the season to go home and rest. The athletic director in this case is a local coaching legend who has 5 state football championships. The teachers did not report his absences in the afternoons 3 days a week during football season. The legal and ethical issues. Karen's a good student and good at school. Academic progress and success is at odds with cultural traditions. Underage marriage according to current social norms. Her parents' request of meetings indicate parent involvement. However, did they consent to the marriage? There's no indication of those meetings even happening at the school. Evidence of changing community and school demographics creating cultural issues that can be seen to be having a negative impact on attendance and school achievement. Both Asian and Hispanic cultures have traditionally young marriage ages for females. Experiencing changes in living arrangements and home responsibilities and spouse expectations could be part of the issue. How could the school support Karen and other female students who may or may not be experiencing the same situation? Tyrone, good student, involved parents, professional parents providing opportunities for their son. The family did not follow school policy in place for the DC trip. They requested approval following the trip, not prior to. The policy was followed for the Canada trip. Dad requested prior approval and provided plan for makeup work. Parents are making an effort to follow policy. Plans for makeup approved by homeroom teacher. Is school policy consistent for all students? Is it possible that one homeroom teacher would approve absences and another would not in the same situation? Christina is the ninth grade student. She's a good student, consistent attendance except for church meeting days. State laws in Indiana, California, Massachusetts. I chose those three states because there's the middle of the country, the West Coast and the East Coast, have consistent laws regarding school attendance and religious beliefs. Absences for religious purposes with parental consent are excused with opportunities to make up work. However, the red flag here is Christina's parents did not request approval. The minister requested approval with lack of detail, no specific location, and no specific dates. There's no documentation of homeroom teacher communicating with parents before approving. Do the parents know about the church meetings, and what is the relationship between the student, her parents, and the minister? Carl's a 10th grade student. Parents do not support strong school attendance, and dad is more outspoken about the issue. They seem to have a negative perspective of education and its importance. They seem to be using illness as an excuse for Carl not to attend school regularly. Parents do have a right to excuse their kids due to illnesses. School districts are required to request a doctor's note after the third absence in a row or the 10th absence in a year, even if they are excused. Community and school demographics are changing, and Carl's family is a part of that change. Carl is disinterested in school for reasons right or wrong. What can the school do to foster an interest in school for kids like Carl, and what programs are available to help support their interest in vocational education on the Golden Oaks High School campus? John, the 11th grader, the athlete. This is a school athletic department culture issue. John is receiving special treatment based on his position within the football team, which is QB1. This is a tough issue. It's a big picture issue. Nobody is suffering in the short term as everybody is enjoying immediate success and glory on Friday nights in the fall. By no fault of his own, John is being negatively affected in the long run by adults living vicariously through his athletic prowess and achievements. The athletic director is insubordinate. He feels like star football players are above the law. The teachers are insubordinate for not reporting absences. Kids like John are celebrated while students like Carl are reported for truancy. How can I help change the culture of the athletic department and maintain its sense of school and community pride? Section 3, sentence synthesis. Karen is a good student who is adjusting to recent life changes and needs support and understanding from her school, where counselors and teachers may need some cultural training to learn how to continue to advance the educational goals of females who may be in the same situation. Tyrone's parents are creating what they see as opportunities for enrichment for their son, but they are having a negative impact on his school attendance and possibly his academic achievement, but more importantly, his situation has brought to light the consistency or lack thereof with the school attendance policy. Christina's situation is concerning due to the lack of parent involvement with religious activities, and it is concerning for the school that the absences were approved by a homeroom teacher without parental consent or communication and without enough specific information to ethically give approval. Carl's in a tough situation by being caught between his dad's high school experiences and a school that does not seem to support his interests, but the school has an opportunity to adapt to changing demographics within the community to support kids like Carl and their families with programs that promote their vocational interests and give them the opportunity to pursue those interests on campus with the rest of the student body. John is a victim of adults with mixed up priorities and along with other athletes will suffer long-term consequences of academic, social, and emotional failures if the school and or athletic department culture is not changed or adjusted to enrich the experiences of all students within the context of the educational mission of the school. Fact synthesis. The known students, individuals, and groups, teachers, homeroom and content teachers, coaches, counselors, athletic director, principal, the Board of Education, superintendent, parents, professional leaders, local industry workers and leaders, church leaders, medical professionals, and siblings. There's also changing demographics, diversity, new culture, new customs, and new interests. The unknown, how many similar students are facing similar attendance issues? What are their races, their ethnicities? Are they athletes? Are they free and reduced lunch students? Are they students in good standing? How are the demographic changes trending? Is income increasing or decreasing? Education of community? What ethnic groups are increasing? What is the culture of these groups? What resources are available for newcomers? The place, the known, Golden Oak High School, the classrooms, vocational ed campus, the athletic department, counselor's office, principal's office, district offices, the suburban community, mostly middle class, some poverty, some high income, most work in metropolitan area and commute to work. Experience change in population, in industry, and there's little to no support for after school activities as parents are driving home from work usually. The unknown, does the community celebrate its new diversity? Are there community outreach programs for new families? Is there a community recreation center? Are there community involvement activities? Does the local Chamber of Commerce support school programs? Do businesses attract young people to stay in the community? What social services are available? Are there opportunities for community growth and development? Is the housing market accommodating for a growing population? Do churches promote youth groups for all religions and denominations? Our programs, the school program, public high school, 11 different team sports, 31 different clubs, vocational ed via another campus, and National Honor Society. The unknown, is the curriculum aligned with state and federal guidelines? Is there a special ed program, and is it adequate? Is there an ESL program? Is there a fine arts program? Is there a gifted program? Are there college outreach and dual credit programs? Are social and emotional needs being met? Are the needs of a quality education being met? What community needs are the current programs addressing? What programs are causing students to want to be at school? Section 5, review. Karen's situation can be damaging to stakeholders if not addressed properly. She is in need of school support, and I imagine others are in need of the same support. The solution involves adjusting to new cultures and finding ways to help fulfill the educational needs of a culturally diverse student population. Those that have a stake in the outcome in a situation like Karen's are individuals in the same situation, individuals who could be identified as part of the same culture or have the same cultural traditions of marriage, the community, children of underage wives and mothers, school staff, especially as children of underage mothers reach school age, student support systems at home, and the community on the whole. All stakeholders in this scenario have not been consulted. There has been little to no communication with Karen or her family about the situation or its ramifications. I can learn more about this situation by studying the data of changing in demographics. By recognizing the Hispanic and Asian populations are growing within the community as well as the school, I can study the cultural norms and customs of each. I can also use demographic data to show the changes our community and school are experiencing and begin introducing ways to support our diverse student population through instruction. I feel like I would know enough about Karen's situation and how her situation may not be an isolated event. If I find through my study that this may be a cultural phenomenon, I will have to have a strategy to address the issue to provide support for females of my school in the future. Tyrone's situation could be damaging to the stakeholders in the community. I'm beginning to see this situation as a programming issue for the school. It seems as if Tyrone's parents may not view the school as enriching enough of an environment for him and feel that they have the means to be able to give him those opportunities on their own. The damage to stakeholders is that Tyrone is risking high academic achievement for enrichment. If other parents with the means to offer the same type of enrichment begin to view the school as less than rigorous, you run the risk of losing good students who need more of a challenge. The school community has an important stake in the outcome of Tyrone's situation. I feel like this is a good problem to have. You have students and families in your community that are wanting more. If you can offer that up by increasing the rigor of your curriculum and provide support through enrichment, you have the opportunity to increase academic achievement for all students. All stakeholders have not been consulted. I believe I need to look at the data to see if there are other students in the same situation with Tyrone. I also need to research to see if approval of these kind of absences are being treated consistently. I can learn more by having a conversation with Tyrone's parents and why they feel the need to educate their child that can be fulfilled via the school curriculum. I think by having that conversation, I can come up with a survey to collect perceptions data about school programs. I do not know enough to make a decision about how to address this issue on a widespread basis. However, I can begin to think about a plan of attack if the perception survey comes back the way I think it will. Without a doubt, Christina's situation could be damaging to stakeholders as well as the community. Not only do religious practices create a gray area in public high schools, they are a touchy subject. However, in this case, I am not as concerned with religious practices as I am the negligence. And the negligence of the teacher who approved 12 days of absences to it. I'm concerned by the negligence of the teacher who approved 12 days of absences to attend out-of-town meetings with an adult not of the family without parental consent. This could be damaging to Christina, her family, the teacher, and the minister, and myself. Christina, her family, the teacher, the minister, myself, and the community at large have an important stake in the outcome of this scenario. All the stakeholders have not been consulted. There needs to be a meeting with Christina's parents, first and foremost. There also needs to be a meeting with staff about the consistency within the attendance policy. There probably needs to be some training involved if the current attendance policy is going to be maintained by homeroom teachers. Yes, I can always learn more about this situation. I would like to investigate this situation by having conversations with the homeroom teacher and Christina's parents. I would not conduct these conversations together. My first concern is the well-being of the student, and my second concern is the attendance policy in place. I know enough that I do not like the procedures of the attendance policy. It does not provide for enough consistency from student to student. It also does not provide for safety for all students. One homeroom teacher received parental consent via typed letter with specific educational reasons for his son's absences, with a plan to make up the work, and another received a form letter which included no specifics and was only signed by a minister. Carl's situation could become a conflict that could be damaging to stakeholders in the community. I see Carl's situation as a programming issue, and the school is not providing a quality education for Carl and students like him. Developing a vocational education program on campus could help make Carl feel like he is part of the school community and also give him the resources to graduate with skills needed to secure a career in the building trades rather than joining the workforce without a diploma. Creating a program like this could provide value to the education Carl is receiving, make him want to come to school, and provide a valuable resource of young people for the changing demographics of the community. Carl, students similar to Carl, the school community as a whole, blue-collar families within the community, and industry leaders within the community have an important stake in the outcome. Stakeholders have been consulted with to determine consequences for Carl. However, more consulting is in order, and data should be collected and evaluated to determine if support and/or programs for students with the same interests as Carl can be developed. I would like to learn more about the situation and research vocational education programs that can provide field experiences as well as provide ways to obtain certifications in appropriate fields for high school graduates who wish to join the workforce directly following graduation. I believe programs like these have the ability to change perceptions of education similar to Carl's dad and help provide a brighter future for students with talents in vocational trades. Programs such as these provide motivations for students and make them feel that they are a valuable part of the school and their community. I have enough information to make a decision about Carl. I also have a plan of attack about how I can help prevent situations like Carl's going forward that have the potential to benefit the school and the changing community. John's situation has the potential to turn into a conflict within the school. This is a big picture issue, and sometimes people in the community only see the positive short-term results and not the damage that is occurring under the surface for the stakeholders involved. However, this is a delicate situation and has to be handled carefully. This is a case of special treatment rather than fair treatment, and there are powerful adults who are well-liked who have brought glory to the school and community who are having a negative impact on young people, whether they want to admit it or not. And me in this situation, I am the new guy. The student athletes have the most important stake in the outcome of this situation. All stakeholders have not been consulted. They need to be. This type of behavior is ingrained in the school and athletic department culture. The most difficult part of this situation is being able to work with the athletic director who has created this special policy for varsity athletes. He is the first person that I need to have what will most likely be an uncomfortable conversation. I can learn more about this situation. In fact, I am going to have to learn as much as I can and review data that includes negative numbers about athletic programs that have a win-at-all-cost mentality. I need to learn about how to change the culture of something that has a positive perception. There are many leadership and integrity programs out there that could be beneficial to include in an athletic department curriculum. I know enough about the situation to know that the consequences of this ingrained cultural behavior will be severe for student athletes. I know enough that something needs to be done, and I'm going to have to be creative to get the desired results. Section 6, options and consequences. When I talk about actions being taken, I talk about direct actions with students. There is always action that needs to be taken by leaders of the school. Should action be taken with Karen? Yes. Have a meeting with the school counselor to discuss Karen's case. Determine whether or not the counselor was attentive to the needs of the student or negligent. If attentive, determine what other immediate support we can provide Karen and her family. Provide monthly reports of Karen's progress. If negligent, create a plan for support, including a meeting with parents and granting them with the meetings they requested. Provide bi-monthly updates on Karen's progress for second semester, including reports on attendance and grades. Create a committee to research and study culturally responsive teaching methods as well as biography-driven instructional methods. This committee will meet throughout the second semester and report findings by the end of the school year. Based on changing demographics, as a decision will be made whether or not to include these strategies in next year's professional development schedule. Strategies will need to help all students access rigorous curriculum and help make connections to their own cultures, languages, and life experiences. Should action be taken with Tyrone? No. This case will make me review the attendance policy and more so how it is executed. The attendance policy is in line with the law. However, the practice of allowing homeroom teachers to decide whether or not absences are approved, excused, and unexcused provides for too many inconsistencies. The inconsistencies expand past who receives approval for absences all the way to inconsistencies in the reporting of absences. The school would have a hard time proving in a court of law who is being treated fairly and who is not if a case of discrimination were to arise. Furthermore, cases in truancy court could be difficult without accurate attendance reports. I will need to figure out a way to have one or two people approve absences and train staff on how to take attendance properly and why that is important. I will also be looking into programs that can help streamline that process via technology. The most immediate action will be to determine which teachers show inconsistencies in reporting and send out weekly reminders via email to properly report all absences. Should action be taken with Christina? Yes. Christina's absences will be considered unexcused until a meeting with her parents can be had to determine whether or not she was in attendance at the church meetings. During the meeting, a discussion about the student's well-being will be had, as well as the importance of parental involvement in these kind of absences in the future. Further investigations may have to happen if parents are unaware of students' whereabouts on the given dates of the church meetings. A meeting with the homeroom teacher will need to happen to discuss the attendance policy and the decision to grant approval without parental consent. Disciplinary action may have to be taken if it is determined that the student was harmed or whereabouts were unknown. Once again, the review of attendance policy. Should action be taken with Carl? I decided yes. Carl will be reported for truancy as he and his parents have violated the district attendance policy and have given cavalier reasons for doing so. It is my belief that the school can do better for kids like Carl and families like this. The changing demographics of the community make it seem like there is a growing need for vocational education at the high school. Students like Carl probably feel detached from the school when they have to travel to take classes that they are interested in. I can figure this out through a perception survey. that I create and give to families that are similar to Carl's. Oftentimes, off-campus classes do not live up to the same quality as classes conducted on campus. This would be the perfect time to research programs and the district's capabilities of creating and developing an on-campus vocational education department that could help students get proper training and possibly receive certifications in their areas of interest. This would increase their interest in finishing high school and motivate them to work toward a career in the trades rather than dropping out and getting a job. John, the 11th grade athlete, should action be taken on him? No. I'm not going to punish the student for the actions of some misguided adults. However, a conversation needs to be had with a colleague that I would like to have on my side. When principals and athletic directors can work together as leaders for common causes, the school culture is second to none. When there is conflict between these two leaders, the atmosphere is miserable and the energy is negative. School sports and activities are the lifeblood of the school and are a vital part of the community. When done correctly, activity and athletic programs can have such a positive impact on the lives of young people as they are developing into contributing members of society. I want to have a conversation about the culture of the athletic department and get thoughts on how we can make it better together for the short term, and more importantly, how we can work together to make it have a positive impact on young people in the long term. Within the conversation will be an outline of some non-negotiables, one of which will be the strict adherence to attendance policies for student athletes, as well as an introduction to a weekly academic eligibility policy. I would also suggest that the athletic department come up with an organizational vision and mission statement that falls in line with the school's mission and vision that can also be taught through an ethics curriculum that focuses on leadership, integrity, and stewardship for student athletes. The pros and cons. Karen's situation. Provide support for Karen. Pros: research culturally responsive teaching. Researches biography-driven instruction. Has a positive impact on all students, or that research can have a positive impact on all students, and it can provide purpose for upcoming PD schedules. The cons: right now we have inadequate immediate support for Karen, creates more work for a negligent school counselor, possible plan of assistance for a school counselor, more work for teachers on committees, and changes coming for long tenured teachers that may not want to change because they may be set in their ways. The pros in Tyrone's situation. No consequences for Tyrone. This will create a review of attendance policies and procedures, a review of teacher responsibilities in regards to attendance recording, create an opportunity to update and refresh outdated procedures, an opportunity to create and develop enrichment programs for the school. The cons: possible continued absences for Tyrone, which we don't want to see. This review work can be tedious work, and if changes need to be made, training teachers set in their ways will have to happen. Christina, the 9th grade student. The pros: verification of student well-being. I want to get confirmation that everything is on the up and up with her and her relationship with her parents and the minister. Another reason to review attendance policy and procedures. There's a possibility of no consequences for Christina if parents verify her attendance at church meetings. The cons: possible consequences for Christina, possible serious consequences for the minister involved, possible serious consequences for the approving teacher, and possible consequences for the school, myself included. The pros for Carl: possible identification of a need for an on-campus vocational education program based on changing demographics and perceptions data, opportunity to fulfill a community need, opportunity to motivate students for life after high school. Carl's brother and sister may see direct benefits from a vocational educational program. The cons: consequences for Carl, probably truancy court in the future. Creating and developing a vocational program will be a long process. Carl may not see the benefits of the program directly. Others like Carl may not benefit from the program right now. In John's case, the pros: no consequences for John. Another reason to review attendance policy and procedures. An opportunity to revamp an athletic and activities department. the opportunity to make something good even better, and character development through sports and activities. Cons: tough conversation with an adult leader of the school, possibility of damaging a relationship between leaders. Working to change something like negative culture is hard and stressful work. I could be perceived, or it could be perceived that I am attacking the athletic department and student athletes. Section 8, the best option in each scenario. Karen's case provides the data to begin the research to include culturally responsive teaching techniques as well as biography-driven instructional training during professional development sessions. Changing school and community demographics suggests small changes to how we instruct our students will provide motivation for students to want to continue their educations. Tyrone's case is the catalyst for reviewing the current attendance policy as well as procedures. His case demonstrates inconsistencies in procedures that could be seen as unfair or unjust. Furthermore, his case provides cause to review an overall curriculum and how rigorous it actually is if families are determining they feel the need to provide enrichment for their students on their own. Christina's case provides another reason to review the attendance policy as well as procedures. This was a concerning case for me as it involves a student's safety who is ultimately under my care. Her case serves as a catalyst to make sure staff are properly trained in conducting business professionally. It may also provide a lesson in consequences for adults if they do not take their professional responsibilities seriously. Carl's case provides the opportunity to create and develop a program that can benefit all students as well as the community. By following trends and demographic changes of the community, there is a population of students that may not be interested in going to college following graduation from high school. Carl seems disinterested in learning, but he may just be disinterested in what the school is offering him. By researching vocational education data and programs, creating and developing our own based on the needs of the community can have a huge impact on our students during their time in our building, but more importantly, can have positive impacts on their quality of life as they leave our buildings. Carl will suffer the consequences now, but may reap the benefits in the future. John's case provides evidence of an ingrained culture of special treatment for a specific population of students. Student athletes often suffer consequences later on in life when they are recipients of privileges handed to them by adults in leadership positions. In this case, it is the athletic director who has had the positive impact on the sports programs from a winning standpoint. It will be difficult to make necessary changes to a program that is perceived to be an example of excellence. Implementing an athletic program vision and mission statement, and by introducing an athletic curriculum for student athletes, the AD and I can work to make a good athletic department great. Finally, implementation. I just kind of created an outline of the schedules going into the spring semester, summer break, and the fall semester coming up. During the spring semester, I want to conduct conversations and finalize the attendance report from first semester. I want to build policy review committees, build a procedure review committees, build culturally responsive teaching and biography-driven instruction committees, research vocational education programs, collect data. I want to monitor athletic department and provide guidance for vision and mission statements. I want to review the reports and give them deadlines and make a deadline for the mission and vision statement of the athletic department during the summer break. In parentheses, I want to schedule the professional development. I want to update attendance policy and update procedure policy in accordance with the suggestions from the committee. I want to provide summer training in culturally responsive teaching and biography-driven instruction, and help develop the athletic department curriculum and yearly motto. And these mottos can be changed yearly if we see the need to do so. During the fall semester, I want to roll out updated attendance policies and procedures and expectations based on data. I want to begin training in culturally responsive teaching and biography-driven instruction during professional development, start training teachers. I want to roll out the new athletic motto and curriculum and expectations. I want to continue the vocational ed work. Um, for example, costs involved fundraising, get in touch and make contact with industry leaders in the community. That is something that is not going to be able to be done by on my own or by myself. That is a large task, and I want to get as many people involved in that as possible. And I want to continue data collection and analysis of attendance as we are implementing the new procedures. That is it for my case study. It was long. I wish I was better at condensing some of this stuff, and I just haven't figured that part out yet. Thanks for listening. I hope you get something out of it. Thank you.